So the pandemic hit us when we were celebrating our New Year celebration. Remember when we were welcoming 2020 and we heard all this bad and devastating news from Wuhan and China? Yes. Less did we know what the future held for us. Overnight, lives changed and we were bound to our homes. So much so, the days and months are passing by and we have adapted to coexist with this new virus who has in its nature to mutate, right? And to change. The adults and elderly were at risk then and we all witnessed devastation. Now it seems like there is a threat to our innocent little munchkins. What is a parent child relationship according to you? Well, according to science, the parent child relationship is the one that nurtures the physical, emotional, and social development of the child. It is a unique bond that every child and parent enjoy and nurture. As a parent, you want to do everything you can to protect your child, isn't it? The coronavirus disease pandemic has now brought with it its new challenges to families across the globe. Hence, today we at Relay Physiotherapy and Wellness Clinic would like to collaborate with Dr. Meghna, a well-recognized, renowned senior pediatric consultant at Cloudnine hospitals, practicing pediatrics since 15 years. She's here today to help us navigate through the health crisis by providing accurate and reliable information on the best possible ways to keep your family safe. Hi, everybody. My name is Fazad Haj, and I'm a physiotherapist at Relay Physiotherapy and Wellness Clinic. So, without wasting any more time, let's add our lovely Miss Meghna. Adding her. Let's try and rejoin this. I guess give us a moment. Trying to add again.
Hello?
There it is. Hello, Miss Meghna. How are
I'm good.
you? With Facebook, but here we are.
You,
I mean, you've literally seen my kids grow, my three children, and it's such a pleasure. It's such an honor to have you with me today. So, please tell the
thank
guests
you.
more about you. Maybe
I
you
think
can
you did
adjust
say,
your camera a little bit, yeah, so we
okay.
can see you fully. Yeah, now it's perfect.
You-
Thank you.
Is that better? All right.
Yes, yes, it's a good
Okay.
view.
The first thing is I'm not very Facebook savvy, so sorry about that. It took me forever to get into it. I'm here because you invited me, and like I
Yes,
said, I've been your pediatrician for around 10 years. Yes, and
yes.
happy to help with.
You've literally seen my kids grow, as I said, and we quickly email and anything to you, and you're so quick with your replies.
Can't hear you. I don't know. Is
Huh.
there a
I guess there's an internet issue again.
issue somewhere? Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not this place. All right.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
So, the pandemic has changed us, right? Yeah, of course, we can hear you. How do you think this, new wave, be it the Wuhan wave, sorry, the Wuhan variant, or the Delta or the Delta Plus, and now that we're talking about the Lambda, which is really unheard of, would affect children?
Yeah, I know that's like the most fearful question in everybody's mind, third wave, and for some reason everybody thinks the children are going to be affected more. But the whole business about the third wave is going to depend on how we behave right now.
Right.
And viruses have their part to play. They do mutate, and it's not just the COVID virus, all viruses do that. They change over time, they mutate, and these waves do come and go. But how devastating it's going to be for us, it all depends on our, vaccinations that the adults have and our COVID appropriate behavior. One thing that people are concerned is, and I don't know where that misinformation is coming from. Of course, we have an infodemic other than the pandemic, and the understanding is different, and people think that children may be more affected. One reason is because they think that adults are getting vaccinated and kids are not, and maybe that's why. But the whole reason we started, vaccinating the adults were because the adults are the more vulnerable population. Kids,
Absolutely.
anyways, for some reason, were showing resilience to it from the start of the virus. So whether it was the first wave or the second wave, the number of kids who got affected were pretty much the same, just 10-15% of the adult population. And out of those 10-15%, 99% had very, very mild illness, didn't requiring hospitalization. So there is no
That already
reasons to
relaxes
believe.
me, to hear it from you, it
Right.
already relaxes us, yeah.
Exactly, and so there's no reason to believe that kids would be more affected if another wave does come in. Of course, kids get affected through adults. So, in most expert opinions, if the adults around the kids get vaccinated, the risk of infection and the transmission is going to get down. Of what you mentioned about the different mutations happening, well, and how devastating that can be, well, nobody can predict. But the mutations happen only when people mingle around and the virus gets a chance to grow and thrive and then mutate. So, if that's why the COVID appropriate behavior, which I guess even in the sleep people would know now, about the mask and
Yes.
the social distancing and hand washing. And that's what
Just do the
saved us in the
basics.
first wave,
Yeah.
even the vaccines. Exactly. So, basically don't be fearful, but at the same time, be smart, be safe, and, wear a mask if you have to step out and maintain your social distance. I mean, your physical distance. And
Right.
that's it. That's about it.
So we did
So,
a little survey with a few parents who had, commonly asked questions, and of course the comments, my questions seem to be common. Let me get hold of those questions for you. So they said that we believe in low or no medicine policy. Do you think this applies to supplements as well? Can we compensate that with a healthy lifestyle? Should we really give our children supplements like zinc or multivitamins like the adults take? Or can we just supplement it with healthy lifestyle, making sure that the physical activity is there, just to increase the immunity? Please comment on that.
absolutely. So, see, most of our nutritional requirements will come from a balanced diet.
Right.
And the balanced diet, you all know, comprises of all food groups. So you have your carbs, your proteins, and your fruits and minerals. I mean, vitamins and minerals which come through your fruits and vegetables. Um, the only reason you would need supplement is in specific age groups like young babies and infants who do not have a share of these, where, of course, breast milk is a complete nutrition, but when they're weaning from breast milk to complementary feeds, or some kids who are really, really finicky and don't go beyond curd rice and will not eat any other color or a fruit,
Yeah.
or there are kids and families who are on restrictive diet for various reasons, like vegans with no animal product, no dairy, no egg. I mean, these are some very minor groups of people who may need supplements or vitamins in different forms, and that is a one-to-one with their physician. I believe a balanced diet, which comprises of a plate which has your carbs, one fourth, protein, one fourth, and at least 50% of your plate consists of fresh fruits, vegetables, and, salads. That is one thing that our Indian diet doesn't cater to. We are very good with carbs
Yeah.
and proteins, and we have, in fact, most of the Indian recipes are pretty much balanced. If you can just add a little bit of, extra fruits and salads and water, I think we are good.
Right.
And
Right.
not to mention, the only vitamin that you don't get much is the vitamin D. And again, that's our lifestyle. So because
Right.
of the indoor activity, and the pandemic, made us even more locked in. So even that can be easily obtained by just half an hour of sunshine exposure on your balcony, terrace. So, like you said, pretty
So
much
it's
everything
literally
is
like
available.
more or less like the adults thing, right? I mean, what you have in your adults plate, of course, a smaller version of the child plate. And if you feel that the
Yeah.
child is not getting enough, then go for supplements, because everybody around I see has been panicking and actually taking supplements on their own. So you would advise off it unless spoken to a
No, so I think the reason they're panicking is because they think that is one way to build immunity.
yeah,
And the whole thing about is that how do we protect ourselves? Of course, okay, it's okay. Before the vaccine, we had the mask thing, and now we have the vaccine. But the whole thing was it's the whole mindset is we pop in some vitamins, we will be healthy. But that was the next question that you were talking about, that
right,
how can you build your immunity, and
absolutely.
it's
That's the
not
next
just
question. Yes,
yes, and it's not just popping in the vitamins, but like you had mentioned, it's a whole set of activities. So immune system is a very complex system of chemicals and hormones, and it's everyday small activities that contributes to it. So other than the balanced diet that we talked about, sleep is a very important
right,
part of building your immunity. And kids
absolutely,
and adults alike need good 8 to 10 hours of sleep. The other thing is the physical activity that you mentioned. Exercise and physical activity also produces endorphins. And in terms of neuroscience now, there's so much of importance of exercise, because not only it builds in your immunity, it also relieves stress. And the most important thing to build immunity is your mental health. Again, I would
absolutely,
come to neuroscience. You may have heard about happy chemicals that get released, and there are certain activities which help in release these happy chemicals, which kind of counter your stress. And
right,
laughter is the best medicine, you've heard. So laughing
yes,
produces these chemicals.
yes,
Hugging, cuddling
true,
your little ones produces oxytocin. That is a happy chemical.
yes,
And basically, acts of gratitude, compassion, all of these we know that we
right,
should be doing, but we don't
right,
know how they help. And now science actually proves that these acts produce chemicals in the body which counteract your stressful hormones. And right
absolutely,
now, pandemic is all about the stress. And the more you read and the more you hear people getting sick and the more you hear people dying, it just builds in this little amount of stress which doesn't go away. So we have to kind of, help balance that with all these kind of small, very simple activity, very mindfully. And that's the only way to build immunity, not just by vitamins. So
absolutely.
um,
So it's very much
that's
like, as we
pretty much
say again, what we do for your adults is more or less common for the kids, because if you're transferring your anxiety, I mean, you're anxious, you're stressed, and you have sleepless nights, and you're constantly reading negative news, it I think passes on to the child. That's one thing. And then also another thing, of course, like me being a physiotherapist, I completely believe in physical activity alongside good diet and nutrition. So, and of course, touch is an extremely important thing, like just a rub in the back of the child, or a hug,
yeah,
as you said, releases those really good
yeah.
feel good factors. Like on every single day, if we start with a hug in the morning, and we make it a routine to laugh for nothing. Those are the simple things I think that
Yes,
would really work with immunity building,
absolutely. Just be silly,
right?
few hours, few minutes in a day, and
Yes,
it in life becomes much happier and healthier.
absolutely agree. Okay, so can you just now tell us about this? Now, again, very commonly asked questions. I'm sure you've been answering this like forever. As to does this common flu vaccine help in any way to build immunity against the COVID-19 strain?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you
So,
just repeat
does
that?
the common flu vaccine? Are you able
Flu
to hear me?
vaccine, yeah.
Yes. Does it
So
help in building the
yeah,
immunity?
Well, one thing you need to understand is that flu vaccine protects against influenza virus, which of course was the virus that was bothering us before COVID came in. And that's why we had these annual vaccinations that we would give, yes, to younger kids and older seniors because they are more vulnerable. Again, just like they are more vulnerable to any disease and virus. So, one thing you need to understand is that flu will help preventing against the influenza disease, not COVID. But the reason experts are suggesting that we take influenza vaccine too in this season is because this is our influenza season too. So when the
Okay.
monsoon comes in, you also have the viral, change in the season, and we have these seasonal viruses, which influenza is one of them. Now, both of them are respiratory viruses, and both of them cause similar symptoms and similar damage to your lungs and sometimes the other organs in your body. So, if you happen to get both infections back to back in the same
Right.
season, then the severity of that illness in that child would be more. So, that's the whole idea. Till we have vaccines against flu, yes, to some extent, getting flu vaccine will prevent you from getting respiratory infections, but not from getting
The
COVID.
COVID
So
19
as
strain, because the strains are
yeah,
different. The virus is
yes, strains are different.
shaped differently. Or
Yes, but it will prevent you from getting another infection. So yes, it does build in your immunity, but not against COVID per se. But your
right.
overall, vulnerability or susceptibility to getting viral colds and coughs will decrease. Yes.
Right, makes complete sense. So there is a slight overlap, and over there. So that's again a decision for the parent to take. The same question again, like, will this pneumococcal conjugate vaccine help in reducing severity of pneumonia, if at all, or it prevents pneumonia in that case, if at all a child contracts COVID-19?
So same thing. Now, pneumococcal vaccine, it helps against bacterial pneumonias. And
Okay,
flu and COVID vaccines are viral vaccines. Now, very often viral infections are self-limiting. Even COVID in kids, I mean, are
right,
most, we've seen are mild infections, but sometimes, rarely, they can get into bacterial infections, and that's when bacterial pneumonias can happen. So yes, taking pneumococcal vaccine will prevent you against getting severe lung infections,
okay,
especially bacterial lung infections. And
bacteria.
now, I mean, we routinely give it to kids anyways. It's part of their routine immunization, and but it's also meant for adults above 65 years of age,
Right.
because they've never in their lifetime as part of their vaccination. So yes, older senior citizens can take it too.
So thank you so much. That
I
really
mean,
clears a lot of our doubts. So,
right.
what would you say that would be the red signals for taking care of a child at home? Because you always tell us, like, even when I've asked you about my child, anytime, any virus it would be, any illness it would be, the first thing you would say is that look for dehydration, whether the child is dehydrated. So stuff like that. Some signals that you can tell us, the red signals, are they the same, or is it something different in COVID?
See, most common reasons for sickness in kids is viral infections, and most of them would come with a fever, and most fevers is what panics or causes a panic in most parents. So one thing I would like to tell is that is responding to the bug that is causing the infection. And most viral fevers do settle down in 2 to 3 days, if not more.
Okay.
The red signals could be that if the fever doesn't seem to settle down despite you giving the right dose of the medication to bring it down and sponging, or in between fever episodes, like most fevers would come and after few hours the child feels better, and again after 4 6 hours the fever may come in. That period in between the two fever episode is very important, where the child should come back to their well-being.
Right.
And their ability to stay hydrated, because fever
Right.
will cause dehydration, and it is the dehydration that causes more sickness than
Right.
the fever per se. So as long as the child is active in between fever episodes, is urinating 4 5 times a day, you can safely watch them at home for a couple of days. But in that interim, do talk to your pediatrician, and because depending on the circumstance from where the child has got fever, I mean, there could be something you could do early to treat. um,
Absolutely.
Again, I would like to say that most parents are anxious and they're like, can we not give an antibiotic and treat
Right.
it?
Right.
So I would also like to make you aware that viral infections do not get better with antibiotics. So it's not as simple as just giving an antibiotic and getting rid of the fever. What's important is to know the cause of fever, and if most of the time it's viral fever, we just let the child fight it, and supporting the child with the fever medicines and fluids, and watch for danger signs like extremely sleepy, not feeling well in between fever episodes, urinating less than 3 4 times a day, um, or you see some kind of petechiae rashes, or if it's a respiratory infection, the child is breathing very fast, um, grunting, and looks uncomfortable. I mean, it won't be a happy
Right.
looking child. You know your child and how he looks. So if he's looking uncomfortable for more than 4 5 hours despite you doing what you're doing at home, yes, that child definitely needs to be seen immediately.
Right. One thing is a good tight virtual hug to you for not giving my children and abusing with, a lot of antibiotics, because I completely agree. Your body's like kept the antibiotics always at the end, and you said, it's not required unless not taken, because I've seen that, a lot of maybe practitioners do give antibiotic even in a viral, which just to prevent the secondary infection, which I as a parent do not believe in, and you clearly do not believe in that too. We always wait for those symptoms to arise, and try not to use the antibiotic as much as possible. So thank you for that. And my personal question to you was, see, if you're doing sponging, you do it in cold water or just regular room temperature water?
So basically, it has to be a comfortable temperature. You don't want to have cold water, because when you're really burning up and you have ice cold water on you, the child is going to shiver more and feel even more sick and uncomfortable. So it needs to be, I would say, tepid, which is basically room temperature. And depending on which part of the country you live in, most of the tap water is kind of just enough to use, unless it's
Right.
winters and you're up north and it'll be ice cold. So you can warm it up to
Warm
make
it up.
it just about, yeah, room temperature.
Normal
And
temperature.
you need to all over the body. The another thing people do is they keep sponging the forehead, and I guess it's what
Correct.
we see in movies and wherever. I guess the sponging is what we
Yeah.
see. But no, when we say sponge, you sponge the whole body, because
Whole
the
body.
more surface
Correct.
area you expose, the
Yeah.
faster the temperature. So I generally say take a towel that is the size of your child from head
Okay.
to toe, dip it in tap water, squeeze it, and take out all their clothes and just sponge them, the chest, the abdomen, all of their legs. Just put the towel for 5 minutes front, 5 minutes back, and it just takes 10 15 minutes. Fever will come down a degree or so. If it's like 103, 104 Fahrenheit, and you want to just bring it down to, close to 101. And if the child is just at, low grade temperature, you don't need to bring it back to 98.6 and, bring it there. The
Right.
important thing is juice it and make the child feel comfortable. Hydrate the child and the body will work. It will
Right.
bring the temperature down on its own in a couple of hours.
Like there's no need of switching on the air conditioner or fan or things like that, because I've seen a lot of parents kind of panic. So what happens is then the body is sending the signal to your head saying that the temperature is suddenly lowering, so increase the temperature again. So there are
Yeah,
mixed signals being sent.
right.
So
So yes, so do what your child your child will lead you. If the child is very uncomfortable, just don't do that. You don't want to make your child more uncomfortable than what he's already feeling through the fever, right? So, and sometimes
absolutely.
when the fever is coming up, you will feel cold. So then they need a blanket. So that's another
Yes.
question most have. Shall we
Yes,
put
yes,
it
actually.
on or shall we not?
Yes.
So it let your child lead you. So if your
Hmm.
child feels comfortable with something, do that,
Yeah,
and watch and be there watching your child. And hydration is the key,
the key,
which
right.
you pointed out in the beginning as well. So keep them
Makes
hydrated.
sense. And that these are like really good, points, because we as parents sometimes just panic and we overdo or underdo things. So this has really helped us, in overall favors. Um, so according to you, when would be the right time to return to physical schooling? A tricky question.
School, right? I know one thing this pandemic has taught us and the kids is that school is so important. It is beyond
Absolutely. It's like a
education.
luxury now.
Exactly. They're missing out on their physical activities, their social, mental health, which
Yes,
nobody even talks about, and
that's
we
very
take it for
true.
granted. And it has really come up as to
Yes,
how important is for them to spend time with their age group, to have a
yes,
friend to listen to you, to talk to you. I mean, even if you have parents who are there all the time, but what you can talk to your mom and what you speak to your friend is
that's
such
true.
a different thing. So yes, we need schools to open up, but of course, a safe
Yay!
way would be.
Somebody is saying that.
Oh, yeah, but it has to be in a safe way. Schools, so I'm sure they're getting it
Sorry,
done, the
yeah,
teachers and the admins. And slowly, I guess, in our country, the way, I mean, I have the same information as you, like with the
right.
infodemic, that the trials are going on and looks like they're going good. And another couple of months, we should have vaccination
So
for
you're
our
saying
kids.
that not
Uh,
necessary that the kids need to be vaccinated as far as the parents are vaccinated, and I mean the adult population is completely vaccinated, yet in a safe place to start with for school with maybe
see,
basic
see again,
numbers.
it all depends in India. Again, schools, the public schools and the private schools and the government schools, it's very different. So government
Right.
schools really need to open up because they have other challenges of malnutrition. So midday meals
Yes.
was a very
Yes.
important part of going to school. So they're not getting food.
True.
And if they're at home, they're subjected to child labor, which is a very natural thing. So, and they don't have internet access and
Absolutely.
online things. So when you say school, yes, the government schools really need to open up because there's so much of added challenges. And of course, the private schools need to open up too. But as far as the education part's going, I mean, they're able to manage through their online thing. And, so yes,
Like you said, it's more of the
that,
mental, physical health, keeping in mind, and the entire. I mean, children more than I think humans. I mean, we all humans as such, adults are social, animals are social human beings, but then children need that a lot more. And like you
yes,
rightly said,
we
it's like your I think the need versus your particular need. Like it could be different for somebody going to the midday meals need versus the actual situation that we are into right now.
exactly. So you can't say like not every person is the same and every child is the same. So some parents may be comfortable sending the child if it's not vaccinated, as long as the teachers are vaccinated, because the child
Yes,
is old enough to wear a mask and be comfortably there. Some may not be. So it can occur in a staggered way. You may have
yes,
some going, some online, and slowly, as I think all over the world, you can see people have been doing that. They've had
yes.
different
Fingers
seasons.
crossed for
Uh,
Indians and us,
yeah,
because we
I
really
think
need
it's
our
just
kids to
big.
go back, be happy.
It'll look, yeah, I guess
Yes.
we are looking towards that. It all again depends on our behavior.
And
So
also
as
how we
long as the
handle,
adults,
if at all there is a wave again next, and how we handle ourselves. Like if we really take care of
uh,
ourselves as adults, we can really help the children along. So
absolutely, that's the key. Our adult behavior and the way we, vaccinate, the rate at which we vaccinate the adults.
and
I
the way
think
we
these are the
conduct
keys.
ourselves in public, and people around us, I guess that's the key. You're right, perfectly right. So some ways to keep children mentally and physically fit at home. I mean, we've not touched so much upon the mental aspect of it. If you could give us few tips, because you've been practicing meditation for like 25 years now, which is so awesome. No wonder that makes you this beautiful, kind person, to all the kids that come to you.
Well, I don't know if that's meditation doing, or, naturally people are kind. They don't have to meditate to do that. But
That's true.
yes, but yes, it does give you some sense of centeredness, I would say. And I think that is something we need to teach kids from day one. And they learn through the adult behavior. So,
Absolutely.
one way to have some kind of structure, what was missing is when the schools were on, there was a structure. They would get up, they would go to school,
Yes.
study,
Yes.
come, and they had a routine. Now everything is at home. The school is at home, your office is at home, and you have to
Yes.
cook and you had to clean. We didn't have help. So there was a lot of stress for both parents working at home and children studying. And then how do you take care, So basically, again, forming a structure in the house, routine around things, routine around your meal times, your sleep times, your exercise times, your play times, and very importantly, some kind of me
Yes.
time, whether it's an adult
Yes.
or a child.
Yes.
Somehow getting them to spend time with themselves, and you can do it as small as a baby is, I mean, you can let that baby be in the crib and play by herself for as long as she wants to, try to soothe herself. As they grow up to be toddlers, you can give them time that, okay, just sit 1 minute when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed. I think that's the best time because you're
Right.
anyway winding off, and you're physically tired and you're going to sleep. So just before bedtime, you can just sit and tell your child to just feel body. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are your emotions? What are you feeling? Little babies, kids don't even know they're feeling. This is anger, this is happiness, this is sadness. And as we grow, this time in becomes meditation for adults. So meditation is a very overrated and hyped thing these days, but I think all of us are doing it all the time. It's just that we don't give a
Right.
word to it. It's
Absolutely.
just being by in your way, connecting to your inner self, that is meditation. And just finding time to do that is important thing,
No, I
because
mean, this is beautiful. It's such an eye opener that you spoke about it because sometimes things honestly, that only adults need that me time. But you actually rightly put it out saying that children do need it too. In fact, you even mentioned that some babies too, like, any age group needs that me time, which is superb. I mean, it's something really new to me. So, yeah,
and
I
I
guess it,
think that, sorry, that's the awareness that I would like to create, because everybody thinks that this meditation is something you need, when you're really stressed and you're
yeah.
depressed, and when you're sick and you're hypertensive, and okay, now do it. So
Now it's time to breathe. Your watch is giving you this reminder. Okay, breathe for 2 minutes.
meditation. But I would say is meditation or these time in activities are actually like a vaccine. They prevent you from getting into trouble. Once you get
Right.
into trouble, then the vaccines don't help. Then you have therapy, and then you have hospitalizations, and then you have other things.
What a
Then
beautiful
doing
line.
and
We need to quote that line. Meditation is like vaccine. Won't work if you're under stress already.
it is. So
Right.
it is your mental vaccine, I would say. It is something
Absolutely.
to prevent from getting into mental disease or unhealthiness. And I think that is something we don't talk much about even in our
Right.
house. So what you can do is talk to your kids. So keep your lines open, be there, let them talk to you, talk their feelings, and be truthful about your feelings. If you are
Yes.
stressed and you are, fearful, you can tell them, yeah, I am worried, but, because I don't know what's going on, but it'll be fine. I mean, it's okay.
Yes.
Uh, and it's the misinformation, and when we don't have knowledge about something, that creates more fear. So
That's very true.
slowly, see, yeah, we are all getting, used to the pandemic, but at the same time, we don't want to be careless and think that, oh, nothing's going to happen and everything's fine, and just do what you have to do and live your life. Well, yes, you'll live your life as long as you are not troubling anybody around you. So
Live mindfully,
yeah,
live consciously.
yes,
Yes, that's the thing.
absolutely.
Yeah, again, we have an overlapping question which says that give your reviews on art of parenting for a wholesome child development, given the current situation with all the family members, which you've already spoken of. And, so these are the things that we will follow, right? I mean, just do this, spend that family time and be there together. Apart from the physical need being taken care of, the emotional need is like, give them the time, give them that me time, explain to them the me time, and actually routine. I think children are suckers for routine. I've seen that, structure and routine really plays a very important role in a child's life. That was brought
Yes,
about when schools were operational. Now that schools are not there, we have to, as parents, bring that in school. Like, mama cannot be around all the time, daddy cannot be around all the time, but this is the structure that you're going to follow, and this is how you're going to, this is the time that you'll sleep, eat, and that, if is falls in place, I think children are happy children then, and adults too,
yes,
I
and
guess.
right. And I would also like to point out that yes, as we do have structure, we have routines, but it's okay to break. Sometimes with you when this is my I have a call, I have a meeting, and I have to do something, and then you're upset that you are in a call and the child is making some kind of a ruckus there. So you can always adapt. So where
Yes,
we
that's
have
true.
rules, you can always adapt. And so
It
don't
could
get
be
stressed.
flexible also. That's true.
Yes, and be kind to your own self. Yes,
Yes, I think it all starts there. Just be kind to yourself. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some breather. Enjoy the process of living every single day, and I think that will pass on to your child. Right? The child will see, absorb,
absolutely,
learn everything,
absolutely. That is the
and
key.
no more,
They
immunity booster than that. Like, happy hormones playing all over the place are the immunity booster apart from your intake of food.
absolutely.
So, ma'am, coming to Pfizer, they say Pfizer is safe for children above 12, and so is what they say. Researchers say about Covaxin. Um, of course, like, I guess you would have as much as information as us, but then a little more, I feel, maybe because pediatricians get to know earlier than us. So, would our kids be getting it soon, or do you think it's safe enough? Like, whenever it comes to Pfizer or Covaxin, what would you suggest?
So whatever comes, take it. As of now,
Okay.
we've been waiting for Pfizer. It's not coming, but
Correct.
US and some of the countries abroad, they have already vaccinated kids above 12, and they seem to be doing fine with very rare side effects. Our own Covaxin is going through trials, and there's another I read, Zydus is another kind of a new vaccine that is going to come, and they're trying it on kids and adults at the same time. So when it comes out, it'll come out for both. So most vaccines are safe because that's why the trial is done, and they look for any adverse effect that could cause. And only when the benefit of the vaccine outweighs the risk of some kind of a major adverse effect is when the vaccine is approved and brought out to
Right.
people. So have faith and take whatever vaccines available. It will help. So I can't tell you when. I'm also waiting. So as in when, just go ahead and take whatever is available.
Right. So we come almost to the end of our conversation. Please give us a good giveaway advice where we are happy and joyful to the entire day and the week and the days to come. Something nice about our kids and us. What would you leave our viewers with?
I would say, when it comes to parents and kids, we don't see that as a relationship. But if you can just, like any relationship, have respect and
Yes.
as the basic foundation of a relationship, I think a lot of problems that we have with our kids will go away. If you can just remember that the kids come through us to this world, but they do not belong to us. And, you're just their caregivers, and respect them for who they are, their likes, their dislikes, and their choices, and support them in the way you can. Um, I think it'll make a lot of things easier for us.
Make the world a better
Yes,
place.
absolutely. Less stressful for both parents and kids.
Parents and children, absolutely. Very true. So this leaves me with a happy high. See, I'm gleaming. I'm so happy that, you've spoken so much about everything. I have been stressed. I've had these anxieties, and I'm sure a lot of our parents also have had this. So thank you so much again. It's been such an honor to have you, and such a lovely vibe. You just left us with so much joy and happiness for a long time. And thank you again. Take care.
Thank you. It was fun being here. Thanks. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Take care. Bye, everybody.